Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? I have these friends, a husband and wife couple, and by anybody's standards, they are overachievers. They both have their own businesses. They put a lot of time and effort into those businesses. They're very successful, but it takes up a big chunk of their time and energy. They have two children, which are now grown, but when they were little, they were always perfectly dressed, and the house was always spotless and immaculate. And every time I would go over there, she might be cleaning something, and he might be doing some kind of project before he had to go out and play a gig. And they also did all these extracurricular activities and had parties, and they went to the gym, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Me, like, man, if I could just empty the litter box and put my clothes away on the same day, I was counting this as a win. And I have lots of other friends that are like that seem to be able to do it all. And it's very easy, if you're like me, to be thinking, well, what's wrong with me? Why are they able to do all this stuff and I can't? We have the same 24 hours in a day. Like, what's wrong with me? And we put so much pressure on ourselves. But it gets worse than that because self-improvement culture is a big thing. And it's been a big thing for a long time. It's kind of rampant now. But I remember back in the 90s, getting Men's Health and looking at all these things I needed to do. And that was my first time, like, getting in the gym and going running and losing weight and doing all these things that I felt I needed to do for self-improvement to make myself feel better about myself, because I didn't feel like I compared. I didn't feel like I rated. And in some areas, I was just unhappy with where I was. There's nothing wrong with self-improvement, but it can become toxic because all of these things on our to-do list and all this self-improvement, well, they're all competing for the same precious resource, which is our time. And when we don't fulfill them, if we fall short, it's all too often this messes with our self-image. So we lose, failure to complete all these things messes with our self-esteem. And so I have this priority list. They tell you you're supposed to have a priority list of things that are most important so you can concentrate on those. And I have something like 16 or 17 priorities. What is my center? Recovery, mental health, getting my teeth fixed, which I've been doing, family, financial stuff, music, RPG stuff, just, staying involved. The house, I did this whole Marie Kondo thing to it where I decluttered it and now it's cluttered again. There's a bunch of things I need to fix around here. Oh yeah, it's like the bathroom lights and the ceiling fan. And let's see what else. Spending time together with my girlfriend and that relationship, maintaining friendships and connections with my friends, because very often I can forget to do that. I don't mean to. And let's see, get a better job, look at some different jobs, which if you watched the channel recently, is a big thing. And also, starting a business, and then all the things I need to do that, and maybe get some better goals written down. So we got these priorities, and that's a whole lot of them. And like, how do I attend to all of them? Because you start to look at these things, and these are all very important. And they tell you, well, just pick three. And well, how do I pick three out of that list? And then I've got this to-do list, because they tell you you're supposed to have a to-do list. You're supposed to have these things that you need to get done, and you can throw all of your self-improvement things on here and self-actualization. And I have it divided like they told me to, where it made sense. Things that are ongoing and things that you're going to do every day and things you need to get done today, really priority things, and things you need to get done in a couple days or in a week or 2 weeks or a month. And I'm looking at things like all the things I need to do to get a band together with my girlfriend, all the logistics of that, and getting a group of people together in recovery to do, to go through some stuff again, looking at jobs and all that, purging the house again. Let's see, my goodness, practicing the bass and various things I'd like to practice on the bass on a regular basis to keep up with that. Let's see, and look at the job. Did I say jobs? And let's see, shaving every day. You're supposed to shave and do a few little rituals. I didn't shave today. Haven't shaved in a couple days. And working out, like I should be working out every day. What I really need to do today, there are 2 bands I'm playing with this Saturday. And so I absolutely need to write those set lists out, write the notes I need, and practice these songs, because I'm only going to have time today. I'm going to have a little time tomorrow and not so much time Friday. So I've got to make sure I do that. But let's see what else. There's this, I need to make this video. I'd like to make this video. I'd like to write a blog post. We'll see what happens with that. What's really, really important is I want to get an email list. So I need to figure out how to get a domain name and what works best for that, to have a little website. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but to get people there so I can send them a newsletter, free newsletter, but something like that, because I'd like to be able to do that. I do have this, WordPress page. Do you have a list like this? Something like this. But wait a minute, I've got laundry I've got to do. There's some topics I need to write for something else and let's see, there's a few books I see I needed to get. Oh my goodness, there's a few different inventories I wanted to take. Oh man, and I need to update my calendar for my gigs. I'm supposed to get this Costco card because my daughter, got this Costco membership. And but wait a minute, I have this debt plan analysis too, and the survey idea, and wait, and then these hangers I wanted to get for some extra guitars and presents for. I got a present for Ollie. That's good. I need to get a present for Avery, and let's see, I need to make a platelet appointment because I haven't given platelets in a long time because that kind of went on the well. Why not? I need to get a will. I need to get a will done. I need to contact a lawyer for something as well. And I need to fix the dishwasher. I forgot about that. I'm supposed to schedule a CAT scan. I needed to get these glasses. I need to get new glasses, but I need to get an eyeglass appointment. And I missed it last year. I was so busy and had forgotten. I could have gotten glasses for free. I didn't do that. Do you get the point? Do you get the point? It's insane. It's insane what we do to ourselves. But it's not like any of those things are unimportant, and they're all clamoring for my attention all the time. And when I look at that list, I get so discouraged because a lot of these things I'm not doing. I don't have that many hours in the day. And all these things that I said were priorities, I'm not even getting to. And the self-improvement thing, when I haven't gone to the gym in a little while because I was injured. Now I can go to the gym again, but I really need to get this other thing done with these songs. And it starts to pile up. And, if you're like me, it can mess with your self-esteem. But also the other thing is not getting these things done is not only sabotaging my self-esteem, it's sabotaging my priorities because I need to do certain things in order to fulfill these priorities, which I already identified through a lot of hard work as being the things that are, crucial and important. And I was listening to a video today by a guy that actually gets paid to help you manage your to-do list and be a productive person and all that kind of stuff. And he said, well, everything I put on my to-do list, I put on there with the understanding that I'm probably not going to do it anyway. Why the hell are we putting it on the to-do list in the first place is what I'm screaming at the phone in the car as I was listening to that. And then a lot of times I've heard, recently, it's been repeated to me over and over again, this idea that maybe you should just have 3 things that you're working on and everything else really, goes in the background. Well, how do you choose? And then of these 3 things, they said if you want to really achieve a thing, whatever it might be, if you're really going, you need to go at that wholeheartedly and full throttle, and everything else needs to be second to that. That needs to be your primary focus. And I understand that, but then everything else kind of gets pushed away, to the side. And they'll tell you, you need to have an unbalanced life to get certain things done, which once again, if I'm doing that for self-improvement or for doing that for a business, for, a lot of the things that I identified that are important, like just being free and not being at somebody else's beck and call, that means a lot of these other things I need to kind of put on the back burner. And how comfortable am I with that? And how disappointed with myself am I going to be if I don't lose weight, or if I don't spend enough time with my girlfriend, or spend enough time with my kids, or read enough, or keep my, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. And I wish I knew what the answer was. What I do know is that we are absolutely poisoned and strangled by this culture of to-do lists and being productive. And I'm not even talking about being productive at work. I'm talking about being productive in our own lives. And this culture of self-improvement and focusing on all that. And it can be so daunting, so overwhelming, and so toxic because, unless you're my friends that are real overachievers, you keep looking at yourself and saying, my God, what's wrong with me? I can't do all this stuff. And there's the other people that seem like they can. And if I could only find a way to actually get these things done, or just focus on my priorities and not care about these other things. And I don't know if that's possible or not possible, but I do know it's something that we need to look at and balance and, maybe make peace with, maybe make some hard choices. We can't do it all. We can't have everything. And, sometimes it can be really tough looking at the goals or the things that I hold as priorities and say, well, which one am I willing to give up? I don't know which ones I am. And that can be tough. And I think as Gen Xers, we might have it a little bit tougher. And wait, don't get mad if you're not a Gen Xer. But I think what makes it tougher is the older you get, the more years and decades of failure you have behind you. And when I say failure, I mean failure to get your to-do list done, failure to live up to the expectations of your priorities and your self-improvement. And unless, once again, unless you're an overachiever, and it gives that critical voice and you so much more ammunition to say, see, you can't even do that. Ivan, you lost weight 4 or 5 times and you put back on every single time. You're unable to do that for a sustained period of time. All those negative messages from our own head and from other people saying, I can't believe you haven't done that. It's your own fault you are where you're at because you didn't do all these other things, even though these things you need to do that one thing, whatever it is, to be successful here. But I was doing all these other things. So when we're a little more seasoned, it can become even more daunting. So I would say take it easy on yourself. This is a tremendous burden to carry. It's not healthy. I wish I knew what the answer was. And if anybody's trying to sell you a 5-minute fix, they're probably lying to you. A quick fix and just trying to get your money, in my opinion. I believe it takes a lot more than just a one and done sort of approach to managing, this dilemma of desperately wanting to have some self-improvement for yourself, not for other people. And you have to be very careful about that. Desperately wanting to chase your priorities and your goals and, all these things that you want to get done. When are we going to do them? I don't know. You tell me. Take it easy, kids.